so we'll show you where these hip flexor muscles go. So if you imagine they're attaching in the back and then they're coming down the front of the leg like that. Okay, so they merge from psoas and iliacus here through the tummy, behind all your bowels, so from that spine down through the groin area, and they merge into rectus femoris there. So now, Alena, if you kick your leg backwards like this, you see how then that stretches that piece of string, okay? And then what some people do is they may arch in their back like Alena's doing to try and compensate, to bring that piece of string closer. Yeah, so it doesn't stretch so much. Okay, so I'll just show you that again on me. So you see from here, it'll attach here, come through behind the bowels, through the groin area, and then down into rectus femoris. So you've got psoas, iliacus, and then down into rectus femoris. And if we hold that there, hold this one here, you can see when I bring my leg back, if we tie it around my leg a bit more, you can see how this would tighten up here. Okay, through there. So here are those muscles in a little bit more depth. So we've got the spine here, and then we've got the psoas muscle. You see how it attaches so many times through the spine there, coming through and down into that hip bone. Yeah, so imagine if you were like 3D from the side there, that would be going from your back through behind your bowels and then into your hip. And it merges with this muscle here called iliacus. So you've probably heard more of iliopsoas, we call it, or psoas iliacus together. So it merges with this one to create our main hip flexors. So then that, if they get tight, they can cause that arching in the lower back, cause that really sort of overarching in the lower back there, and it can mean that getting that hip into extension becomes difficult because people are too flexed to allow that leg to come back. Yeah, which in turn can give you a lot of knee problems, lower back and knee issues. So then the other part of the hip flexor is the rectus femoris. So that's part of your quad. He makes part of your quad as well. The other quad muscles attach below that point in the hip there. They don't merge into the spine as well, but the rectus femoris comes up to that hip bone there, onto that what we call ASIS, anterior superior iliac spine. And as that comes up, that also is then involved with that. See that bony piece there? It attaches up to that bony piece. So again, when you stretch to there, that affects that. Whereas the quads, they've attached a bit below that, so their main stretch would be to do with bringing the knee up. You see that stretch in the quads there, but as soon as you bring it into some extension, now you're bringing in those bad boys that come up through that angle there. Okay, so I'm going to teach you a stretch now. I teach you a stretch to kind of get a 2 for 1, and for some it may be tricky, so you just want to stick with the first level. Okay, but for those who are a bit more flexible, then you can progress on to the next level. So here we go. Find a bit of floor. Now, if you are one of those people with a bit of an arch in their lower back, you may find you want to put a pillow underneath your hips. Yeah, hips, not belly. Yeah, and that will flatten out here a little bit more, so that, because otherwise, if you're already someone that overarches and then you go down, you can then really overarch even further. So if you put that pillow there, that will just take some of that edge off for you. Then keeping your knees together, and you'll probably find when you first have a go at this, if you are really tight, you want to keep your top half down. Oh, we've got the cat joining us too now. And so what we're going to do is you will be down like this, and you're going to reach back for your foot, And as you're bringing your heel towards your bottom, you then want to push your hips into the floor, okay? So pushing that hip into the floor, that'll increase that stretch. Now this is more for the quad, but by pushing your hips into the floor, you're adding a little part of that hip flexor, okay? Then if this is okay for you and it's not an issue, or even if you're holding it to there, or maybe you've got a towel around it and you hold it to there, that may be enough for you. Maybe you finish here. But if you want to go a bit further, then you can push your top half up. So you see how now I'm getting that arch in my back. And again, I'm pushing down with my hips, push, 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 keeping my knees together so they don't drift out, because that's really easy now. Bringing them together, and the more I come up, the more I'm getting that stretch, but I must always keep that push down of my hip, because as soon as I let go of it, I don't really feel the stretch anymore, but that's because I'm a little bit hypermobile. But this is really good for anyone that's got any hip flexors or quad issues, and it's kind of a combined stretch for you. Now what you can also do, if people find that a little bit tricky, because you could do it on your bed, or the floor is a bit better because you've got a bit more of a firm feedback, and just stops any cheating. But you can do it on your side. So you come on your side, try and be as straight as you can, like this. One leg straight down the bottom, other leg pulling up towards you. Now balance could be an issue with this one, so you could always put your leg forward, the underleg forward, as you pull back your heel towards your bottom. Now you can add in a bit of extension with that as well, so you could get a little bit of a hip flexor there too. So this is quite nice for people that maybe not as flexible, but the one on your front just ensures that there's no cheating going on, no cheating with this forward piece, so you can't go anywhere. If you do the ones in standing, you'll see that I could do this, and my knee is forward, my pelvis is forward, yeah, so I can cheat. Whereas if the floor's there, tuck your tummy in, tuck your pelvis in, your knees together, heel up. Now I can't cheat, and now I feel a really good stretch down here. Okay, give that a go and give me some feedback.